Okay.
Okay, well, speaking of romances, this morning, a new report from Axios is detailing an interesting take on dating in D.C. New data from Match Group highlights just how many Washingtonians are turning to artificial intelligence for romance.
Marcella Robertson spoke with an Axios reporter this weekend to break down her findings. So here's what she had to say on the topic.
DC really had a huge percentage of folks doing this compared to other big cities. And Match, when we drill down on these findings, Match defines using AI for romantic purposes a couple different ways. So that applies to folks who either were using chatting with a GPT for romantic connection or sort of just emotional or human connection, or folks who are using a GPT to help craft their dating profile or to send messages to other people on a dating app.
What does that say? I mean, 28% saying they have had some kind of romantic interaction. That seems pretty high. What does it say about not just the use of AI, but also the dating scene maybe in the DC area?
Yeah, so this is completely anecdotal. I've been out of the dating scene for almost a decade now, but when we posted this story, the response was really, really overwhelming and interesting. People were just like, dating in DC is awful. It's really, really hard. They feel like they're not able to really sustain good connections with folks. There's sort of like a almost transactional feeling and sort of an inauthentic feeling a lot of folks are getting when they date someone in DC. And I wrote a story last year about how Washington is really facing a loneliness crisis. At the time, about over half of DC's households consisted of one person, which was the highest out of other large metropolitan cities. And I do think that this is sort of mirroring something that we've often seen nationwide, right? Which is that people feel really isolated, feel really lonely. And sometimes that affects the way that we can interact with other folks in a negative way. And I think that we're seeing, a lot of times people are relying to these chat GPTs to help them craft messages, to help them find connection, because it might be easier than sort of putting themselves out on a limb, leaving their home.
That is so insightful. The data is there to really support the idea that is technology overtaking human interaction? We got to put down these phones and talk to people.
That loneliness piece, though, it just seems to be so real. Actually, my heart breaks because, if you go too far down the rabbit hole here, how can you get out? Like, how do you make that human connection? So the other half that is using this to basically create a profile, or I would hope to maybe match people. Do you know what I mean?
For
like
that
part. So, oh boy. Okay. Either way, it's really interesting, Marcella. Thank you. And we have much more ahead on Get Up DC coming up in our next half hour.